Okay everybody, welcome back. Fab and Build, I'm Ron. We are on the drawers for the welding cart. This is my 1/2 inch birch right here, the Russian birch. We have already got one panel of 15.5 wide cut down, then we're going to cut our 17.5 bottoms out of that. I'm going to cut one more 15.5 here and do the same. That way we'll have all 10 and then we'll have a few sides or ends of the panels on the others. So let me get this marked out, we'll get this cut. I've already got my panel squared up, so we know we're good there. Okay. $15.5. I love it. Now we have an 11.5. All right, now we have the 11.5. This narrow piece left over is right at about 5 3/16, which is perfect because it's going to cover all of our 4-inch wide stuff right here, if you can see that. We'll take and cut these out to width on the table saw, or I can actually do that up on the miter saw. Set it to width, boom, 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 boom. And you'll notice that I have a very annoying habit of double checking my measurements even after I've cut them, just to make sure that we're good. On the money. All right. The only other one we have left to cut is going to be 18 inches wide for the rest of these few pieces down here. And we are done with that. So part of this will be left over and this will be left over. So we'll use that for another project on another day. Get this organized, we'll be right back. Okay, just wanted to share a little trick with you. So when you get done cutting the panel and you know you're going to be saving it for a future product or future project, even if you don't have anything planned, I always mark my square corners from the last one that I know I cut, which I know is square. That way when I pull it out, I already have references to what my square corners are and I can go from there. So just a quick tip. Okay everybody, I've got my basically my stop block screwed down into the counter at 18 inches right now to the blade. And I've got 4 of these that I'm going to cut at 18 inches. And then I'm going to cut one at 15.5. Those are going to be our 4-inch drawer fronts all across here. So I have 18 front and back. And then the 15.5 is going to be the side where it goes front to back. So I'm going to get these cut down. And I'm going through and doing my little marking on here. I'm doing a 15.5 by 4 inch, so we're going to rip these down to 4. When I get the table saw set up, these are 18 inches by 4, and then we'll rip that down. So this way I know all of my panels, I can keep track of them, and I know what I have. Okay, because I have the 15.5 already set up, I'm going to go through and cut that, then we'll remeasure this out to 18 because I already have the mark. It'd be real simple. Undo the 2 screws, scoot it over, screw them in, double check it, make sure I do my 18s. Love this table. I actually quit using this table for a very little bit because I was in a 1-car garage and I had no room for it. And you would have thought that that would have been the perfect place, but it was so jammed up with everything else that I didn't have the room for the table. And I did everything either on sawhorses with the track saw or my little contractor table saw. All right. Okay, I'm gonna set this last 18-inch wide board up here at 30 inches. I'm gonna cut that off, and then I'm going to use that on the table saw as well as to cut down my other 18-inch wide 3-inch pieces and my 18-inch wide 2-inch pieces. I've got my 8 2-inch by 15.5 cut. I've got my 8 2-inch by 18 cut. We're going to set this up for the 3-inch, and we're going to do the last 4 of those. We're going to go ahead. I've got the bit set in here. I saved my setup block from last time that I set up. How well you can see that. I've got the front and back, okay, which is these pieces we're going to run through, and then this is for the side. So that gauges that, and then gauges it this way for the front and back. So that's got all of these cut. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the fronts and backs on the 2-inch drawers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to get set up, and I'm going to run these this way and then that way. Always flip it like a blade. Don't ever want to take and flip it like this. fixing to mill the grooves on these panels that I've gotten cut down. So we're going to do that. Make a quick stop here and double check something real fast. I feel like everything is good on this. I just want to double check and make sure. I'll stand these up. This one goes in here like so, and the other one goes right down in here like that. Okay. Bingo, bango. That works. That's going to work out good. Okay, awesome. Move on to the rest of them. The next stage, I'm going to put one of these together and check its width in between these slots. All right, let's see. That's going right together. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I see what it is. Well, you're going to be a booger barn, aren't you? There it goes. Bingo. That's the drawer. Nice. Gonna run through here and check them all, make sure they all fit really good. If there's any adjustments to be made, I'll go ahead and make them when I find them. And other than that, looks like we got drawers. We're close to getting these things ready to put in here after we glue them up and let them dry. So everything in its own little process. Anyway, I'm going to clean the rest of these up and we'll be back. Okay, real quick before my mic dies on me. So we've got all the drawers cut. We've got the 2 11.5s, we've got the 4 2s, the 2 3s, and the 2 4s. These are dry fit all together. We're going to break them down, sand all the pieces, get them all sanded, put them back together. I'm going to do any filler work on any of the laminate that's busted out on a few of the panels. I think I had 2 or 3 panels that busted out. We're going to get those filled in, sanded down, put back together, glued up. Once the glue dries, we'll come in, we'll put a coat of finish on these things and get them where they're sealed from all the metal dust and sawdust and everything in the shop. That way they're easy to sweep out, knock out, vacuum out, whatever. Helps them. I don't want the dirt and the grit getting into the wood grain of the drawers themselves. That just looks nasty. So we'll do the same with the cherry fronts when we get to that. But that's where we're at. We're going to sand these down, get them glued back up, ready for the fronts, and then get these things into the cart. We'll be back with that. Okay, fixing to glue these big drawers up. This is the last one I sanded. I'm going to work back in reverse all the way through the stack. The way that I sanded them, the last ones will be first, the first ones will be last. I've got my strap clamps out for these, hoping that they will be a better solution for clamping these drawers. Maybe I can get them square, they will dry square, and everything will be good. Okay. Put that set up in there for right now. Get this down the side and the slot for the bottom. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put this down the side of the panel. And in we go. Same here, come in here, do this one. The other panel here that goes up the side. Be that. And in we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to put the glue down these two in the top. Alright, so we've got all these glued up. We're going to wait for the others to finish drying. We'll come out. I'm going to start hitting the sand on the ones that are dry and I've got unclamped. Okay. Now we're gonna move through here, clean these up a little bit, put some finish on them. Okay, everybody, we are in the middle of getting the BLO, boiled linseed oil, put onto the drawers. Real quick, my process is different. If you watched the cherry end tables, you saw me going through that stuff crazy and using a brush and really just getting with it. So I did 2 or 3 coats on the tables. Not going to be the case here because we have veneer core plywood and we have layers, right? That's all compressed wood. I think most everybody knows what VC is, veneer core plywood, laminated like this to make a solid piece of wood. The nice thing I like about this grade of plywood, there's no voids in it. There's no holes like your BC plywood, your builder's plywood. So 1 coat, I use a rag, shop towel, fold it up. Real quick, when you're done, make sure you unfold this towel. Let it dry completely. Do not wad that up or toss it in the trash can. Do yourself a favor, do not do that. Chances are real good you'll have a fire on your hands and you don't want to burn your house or your shop down. So real quick, takes 10 seconds. Unfold it, lay it out. I'm not quite done. I'm still going to use this rag, so I've got it unfolded and laid right here on this drawer. So when I'm ready, I can stack these out of the way, get that one over. It'll be the one on the top. This will be up top where it can still air dry. I'll attack these other 5 and move forward. But please do that. If you're using any kind of boiled linseed oil at all, do not wad your rags up and throw them in the trash when you're done. Let them dry before you do that. There are other alternatives. You can get a metal paint can, a 1-gallon paint can from Ace or Walmart, wherever you can get them from. An empty can. Hasn't been used for anything. And I think you have to put, I've got to double check on that. I don't want to misquote it, but you could fill it a little bit, put your rags in there, leave them in there for a couple of days, and they're good. They'll be, I think it's water, but I'll double check that. So it basically neutralizes all that stuff, pulls it out of the rag, neutralizes it. Then you can let it dry out, then you can throw it away. Never throw a BLO rag in the trash, wadded up, wet. Don't do it. So that's pretty much going to get the summary of this done right now. So we're going to let these dry, come back, do the other 5, get them in the cart, get ready to put the drawer fronts on them so we can move forward. So I look forward to that. Hope everybody's enjoyed the video. Any questions at this point, leave them in the comments below. I will definitely get back to you on that. And we're going to come back and do these others. See you in a minute. All right, this drawer is going to stay in. I'm going to pull this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this one out. Going to put my other screws in here. Okay. Wow, nose is itching. So we're going to pop this back in here. And that one's good. Sweet. So then we just move right up the line. I'm gonna get my 3-inch and we'll get this done. We're giving an update on the welding cart drawers. I have these in on the left side. These were the last ones we put in. I've got my blue tape handles. We've got, those were the first ones we put in. We are going to move forward on the cherry. We actually have some of the cherry boards laid out where we're going to match the grain. I don't have those right. Once I get these jointed, this grain is kind of flow through here. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's as close as I can get with these two. Kind of how the grain flows down through here and into the next board. Okay, so I'm going to try to start ripping down these deals for the drawer fronts on the welding cart. That is correct. So 2 1/8 off of this one, 2 1/2 off the other one. Now we have to cut these to length. That is the match. I am going to double check the saw. I really don't have to, but I'm going to. Oh yeah. You are on the money. Those are going to be a little bit longer than my 19 1/2, but that gives me the extra I need to be able to trim off either end. Now I'm going to double check something just to make sure. That's money. Well, that is money too. Wow. It don't get a lot better than that. So I'm going to lay these out. Just the way they're going to go. Just right here, just like that. Okay, I'm going to cut these next two to length and then I'm going to rip them down. Two and an eighth. Here. See how well I can do this. Nice. Looks pretty good. So I'm not sure how well the camera's picking this up, but I have the big wide deep grain in here, and then I have the real tight narrow bands of grain out here. The total width of the drawer fronts need to be 12 3/8 this way. 19 and a half I have. I'll cut it to 19 and a half. I'm going to cut these down to 11 3/8. That leaves me an inch. So I can cut 1/2 inch strips for top and bottom of each drawer on each side. Aesthetically, from the front, that gives me an extra 1/2 inch of this tight grain on each side. And it looks more uniform. It's going to be harder to pick out. For anybody walking in here, they're just going to go, ah, cool. They'll never see it, they'll never know, not unless they get right up on top of it and they start picking it to death. It's the only way that's ever going to be. And if they do, I don't care. I really don't care. It would only show me or tell me they watched the video, wanted to come by and call me out on it, or two, they were just that detailed and was paying attention. Other than that, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. If somebody noticed it, I would be impressed. So anyway, I'm going to cut these down to 11 and a half. Then I'm going to go to 11 3/8, and then I'm going to come back and trim this edge off once I get this good side trimmed down. Okay. Sweet. Now, on this one, I can rip that edge off. Okay. Nice. I like that. Okay, so we are going to take the clamps off of these and get these clamped up on the other side. Okay. Bring this in here. Okay, good enough. We're going to let that dry and then we'll come back. I'll get whatever I get out of this when I'm going to cut it down to 1 inch for the handles. We'll see how many I get, and then we'll resort to the shorter blocks that I was working with the other day. This is kind of what I'm going for. So you can see the profile. That's going to be my finger pull. They're actually going to be mounted to the drawer fronts right here. Got all of those cut. We're going to go ahead and get back over here to the router table. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a chamfer bit in here, and I'm going to knock this down a little bit. I think I'm going to stay between the 1/8 and 3/16 on this stuff, especially if I'm going to come across here. I'm going to go ahead and bevel these as well. It's always a good thing to know that when you get done routing, the reason you have so much sawdust is because you forgot to turn the vacuum on the last pass. The things I do. I know I'm not by myself.
Okay, I'm gonna move forward on this. I've got my backer board. I've got my drawer fronts up here. I'm gonna freehand align these things because that's the best way I can get this done. So I actually have that one already pre-marked. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and hit these with some sandpaper where I like them. Nice, good, smooth finish on it. Then we're gonna go ahead and come back, wipe them clean, and then we're gonna put our first coat of finish on it. Then we're probably gonna put a coat of poly on them. All of this after that. Then we're gonna attach all the handles. Okay, got my gloves on. This is BLO time. Get me another glove on here just to be on the safe side. Now, any of you that watched my end table video, you're probably going to sit here and go, Ron, you used a brush on all that. Why aren't you using a brush here? Well, these small parts, I could use a brush. I'm just choosing to do it this way. The small parts, I want to have more control of the finish than just trying to glop it on and spread it out with a brush. I want to have a little bit more control over that. And that's why I'm putting it on with a rag. I will still do, wow, look at this. I got it all over the jug, table. Yeah, that's giving me plenty of oil to work with. And of course, when I get through with this rag, most of you that watch my videos, you're already saying it. Yeah, Ron, you're gonna unfold it and set it out. Good. That really is important. I've seen shops and houses get burned down from negligence from simple things like this. And that's a shame that something so simple could take out that much. That is really the only reason you hear me stress that point. I think for the drawer fronts, I'm going to graduate to a brush and go that route. We're going to lay this out and let it dry. Pour just a little bit in here. Because like I said, a little bit of this stuff does go a long, long way. Well, that's actually a lot. gonna go ahead and get my gloves on. We're gonna move to getting poly done on these. I'm gonna get the handles put on first though. I said I was gonna do that, so we're gonna do the handles first after we wipe these down. Then we can do the poly. Move to getting the handles on here. So these are going to be our 1 1/4 inch number 8 screws. Standard number 8 1 1/4 wood screws. Should be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Those should be how I had those paired up. So, now, let's see how good my work was. Okay. That is the first one right there. Sweet. I'm gonna run through here and get these done real quick. Okay. All right, now we're going to move to poly. Okay. So okay, I'm getting ready to take these drawers out and start putting these drawer fronts on here. I'm going to start with the bottom and work my way to the top. That's close, and that's really all I'm trying to do right now is just get it close. I'm not trying to be exact. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my drill. Countersink bit should go into the drawer front just enough to start that hole. I'm only using I am only using a 1-inch screw. So, number 8 by 1 inch. All right, one of each, one on each corner. Just gonna pull these out because I'm not even gonna use these. Okay. We are going to screw these panels just like I did the other one. I think on this drawer I was going to put one at the top, one at the bottom. I was going to put 6 screws in here. I think that may be a bit overkill. I'm just going to go right down the middle, and I think we're going to be good. Okay, so that's the drawers on the one side. They all work really well. I'm gonna have to, once I adjust this drawer to get it to do right, all of that stuff's gonna come right back into play. I just need to adjust this side up a little bit. Now we're good. There we go. All right, everybody. That is going to be a wrap on the welding cart. Oh, knocking stuff over. I'm glad to have this done. I hope that everybody has enjoyed the build. Let me see if I can pull this around over here and get that other side as well. And they've enjoyed going through this with us on the welding cart. We still have the side panels and the cap underneath to do in the paint. So my goal of hitting December 31st to having this done got shot out of the water. It is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it. That was a projected goal. That was what I was wanting to do. So caca occurs. What can I say? So anyhow, so we hope that everybody is in a good place. We hope everybody is doing great. We hope everybody enjoyed the video. All right. If you like what we did with the drawers here, if you have any questions or comments on the drawer build, anything else on the welding cart, or any of the other projects that I've done in my other videos, leave the comments below in the prospective video. and I will get back to you. I monitor that all the time to make sure. I'm gonna start, because I'm getting so many videos, it's getting hard to keep track of the older ones. I still go back and check them, but if I don't get to you right away, don't be disheartened. I will get to it eventually. So if you have a very important question, you can shoot it to me on a current video, or I'm fixing to have my email up there, so you can send me an email and say, hey, Ron, what about this? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, big changes coming for 2026. We're stepping forward. We're opening a new door for the channel. We're going to start doing a lot of different stuff. I'm not going to get long-winded about that right now. I'm actually going to come back and talk about that shortly for the new year. So be looking for that. Anyway, again, we hope everybody is in a great place. Everybody is doing fantastic. We hope that everybody is staying safe. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up, get out of here. You guys have a good one. Take care. Be kind to one another, and we'll see you later.